I like estates, specifically fast estates, hence my purchase of this 2013 Audi S4. But if I wanted an EV, specifically an EV estate, there wasn't really many, if any, options that I could choose from until now. Porsche's Taycan Cross Turismo is the first real EV estate option you have, and it's insanely expensive. It starts at £80,000, and if you want the faster Turbo S variant, then you're parting ways with a minimum of £140,000, and you can easily option it well up to £180,000. For the base model at that £80,000 price tag, you get 375 brake horsepower. You do get 469 brake horsepower in launch mode, which is nice, but that's only available from stationary doing a launch. Once you're up to speed, or if you're taking off from not in launch mode, you only get that 375 available. What that means is, using launch mode, you get a 0 to 62 mile an hour time of 5.1 seconds. You also get a top speed of 137 miles an hour, which all of those figures combined actually almost identically match or are a bit under this S4 from 2013. This supercharged 3-litre V6 can perform a 0 to 62 in exactly the same, at least in stock numbers. Also, you can remap it and also change the supercharger pulley to get that pretty significantly down, but at stock it is capable of doing 155 miles an hour on the limiter, or in de-restricted modes, it's known to be able to get close to the 180 mile an hour mark. And what's crazy is that this S4 was cost me around £16,000, a fair bit shy of the 80,000 you'll need for one of those new Taycans. Also, even if you wanted to buy one of these new, you're still looking at only about £45,000, again, almost half price. There are also a few other models that you might be interested in if the, 45 grand S4 matching performance of the standard Taycan isn't quite up your street. Like I said, on the ultra high end, there is the Turbo S, which is £140,000 starting price. That one offers 616 horsepower as standard, although in launch mode offers 751, meaning a 0 to 62 time of 2.9 seconds. That is proper melt your face off acceleration. There is also the standard turbo model, which still offers 616 horsepower as standard while driving, but a lower peak during launch mode. And there's also the 4S model, which is probably the one you'd get, which starts at £88,000 and offers 483 horsepower as standard. No matter which model you get, you'll be getting the larger of the standard Taycan's batteries, the 93.4 kilowatt hour one. You'll also get all-wheel drive no matter which model you get, although I'm currently slightly unsure whether the configuration of the physical car, the motors, inverters and battery, are actually any different between the base model Taycan that offers 375 horsepower and the Turbo S, which offers a peak of 751. As far as I can tell, they're the same. It's only basically software that is the limiting factor there, but perhaps the inverter is slightly different, slightly lower spec. Either way, it's kind of interesting. You do get the larger battery though, but despite that larger battery, you still don't get the best range in the world. You get, at least on the WLTP cycle, a quoted 241 to 283 miles, depending on which model you go with. For a bit of comparison, a base model Tesla Model 3 offers pretty much right bang in the middle of those WLTP figures in terms of its range, or if you go with the long range model, offers almost 100 miles more in a Tesla Model 3, a much cheaper car. Hell, even this rather thirsty supercharged 3-litre V6 can still get well over 300 miles, and if I'm careful, more like 400 miles to a tank. And again, this isn't the most efficient car in the world you could get, and well, I would just hope for a bit better for that much money. But it's an estate, right? It's finally an EV estate option for, well, not quite for the masses, but for the few. It also, you can buy with a bike rack that Porsche designed that apparently lets you open the rear boot with the bike still attached, which is actually quite a nice feature. In terms of the interior upgrades for the estate version, you do still get the option of 5 seats with a sort of hump in the middle. That is an optional extra. In terms of boot space, you get 446 litres with the seats up, or around 1200 litres with the seats down. That's about the same as a Golf hatchback, which kind of explains why my S4 actually has more boot space. 490 litres in the boot itself and 1400 litres with the seats down. So from my very biased perspective, my S4 is more spacious, can go just as fast at least as the base model, has a similar range, funnily enough, and is a hell of a lot cheaper and also makes a really nice noise. Of course, I'm not the sort of person who would buy the Taycan Cross Turismo. That sort of car is for the multi-millionaire who wants a second or fifth car to go in their collection as a very nice sort of daily driver that's reasonably practical, but is also face-numbingly fast. For the sort of person who was going to buy a Panamera anyway, I could understand why you'd pick up a Taycan Cross Turismo instead. It's similarly practical, give or take, and it's going to be similarly fast and actually almost identically priced, but you do get that instant acceleration, that instant torque, which makes for a very unique and, well, entertaining driving experience that you don't quite get with internal combustion engine cars. Also, the fact that if you keep it plugged in at home, which inevitably you would never need to fill it up except for on longer journeys, which makes the millionaire's life just that little bit nicer. I think if money was no object for me, I would still rather buy an Audi RS6 Avant instead, because it's equally insanely fast, it's more practical and spacious, it's also still all-wheel drive, still plenty of grip, and it's still a similar actual range, plus, technically speaking, faster fill-up times. But it's also more of an ultimate one-car-fits-all solution. That's why I bought the S4. For me, this is the best car in the lineup that I can afford to drive, own, and run, that also is ludicrously fast. I could still take it to the track if I want to, but I can also take it to the shops and back and not be too worried about it, getting dinged or whatever, or just doing short journeys. For me, this is being able to have one car that does everything is quite paramount right now. If I was in a position where I could afford to have two cars, store them and run them, then my second car would be an electric one. It would probably be something like a Tesla Model 3 or maybe the Model Y for a bit of extra boot space, because I really like electric cars. I would really love to own one. I'm not in a position where that makes sense for me right now. They're still kind of too expensive, but I really like the idea. It's just for the sort of lower middle class person like me, it's not quite possible just yet. Now, you've heard my thoughts on the Taycan Cross Turismo. I would love to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think about it? Is it your next car? Is it, sort of poster child, or is it something that you'd probably shy away from, maybe for the range, for the insane price tag by comparison? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, that's pretty much it from me. Feel free to subscribe for more videos like this one on a weekly basis. This is the first sort of thoughts video that I've done, at least in a while, so feel free to let me know what you think of that too. If you'd like to see more sort of news and thoughts videos here too, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, feel free to check out the rest of the videos on the end cards. There are plenty for you to check out. And as always, there's more videos every week, so feel free to stop by next week. Otherwise, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, we'll see you on the next video.